Hello everybody, Feel Authentic here with a ranked free-for-all replay featuring Selin, Nitrocide, Andreas G, and Clamanchero. There's some discussion about this replay as to whether Black Market was incorrectly targeted or not, so let's go ahead and find out. We do have expansive robots, nomads, and elites. Let's see if we can get out and look at a bird's eye view at this map here. Well, we don't have much in the way of founding locations that are great. We do, however, have these two really awesome spots right here. That would be great. Maybe three if you had a scientist, but we don't, so I'd expect to see maybe some elites or robots over there. Down here we do have a bunch of silicon, and all the aluminum is annoyingly on this side of the map, so people will be shipping long range for that aluminum. So something like a nomad right over here, and then the second one maybe over here close to this aluminum that you can ship not too far. That would be a pretty good job as far in terms of a founding location. Otherwise, it's these areas up here, which are over here are the best, which are near to pretty much everything. So 1, 2, 3, and then I would expect 4. Yeah, we do have a nomad found. Not quite the right spot. Better over here because you don't have to ship that there. And we do have a robot being founded next to carbon. The expansive founding right over here, crushing maybe a little bit more of those resources than I would like to see. It is series and will diminish, but you do have no nukes, so it's a little bit better. The other expansive going over here, that is also as anticipated, and the second nomad spot, we did see that in the middle of this crater. I don't like this spot. Multiple reasons. First of all, you do have some carbon over here on this side, and if you found here, you're a lot closer to this aluminum and by this nice patch of water that you don't have to ship. You're going to have to ship in water here, and that's just an unnecessary expense. Second, you can't really use this too well as far as splitting up your claims because there's not a lot of room to place them. You get like one triangle over here and another triangle over there. Well, that might be enough. We'll have to see. Clamanchero is the first HQ2 off of the strength that found, crushing a lot of resources, moving into some glass, moving into silicon? Yes, silicon for that glass. Off to a nice strong start. I will mention if you notice any differences in the UE, that's because I am casting this with the excellent UE Plus mod, which is really good for reviewing replays, so you can see that Nitrocide has the most cash, and their buyout percentages are the color of the Nitrocide because they have the most cash. So we can see that will change as everyone hits HQ2 at almost the same amount of time, so robots and nomadic friends are lagging a little bit behind. Clamanchero is getting off to a nice strong start. Let's check in with Andreas G. Andreas G is going into some water, a little bit of a blob here. Be nice maybe to see a goon squad just to keep it. Well, it is EMPs and that's power surges, so that doesn't really matter too much. But going to put some food over on this side, that's quite excellent. Clamanchero also moving into some food. Has a goon here right on this glass kiln, wants to keep it online. That goon placement is good if you want to deceive players. It's more likely to be hit by an EMP, because most people are going to expect it to be over here in case you decide to span out this way for like a row of power, and power is creeping up in price, so we want to keep an eye on that. Nitrocide, or Nitrocide, let's just call him Nitro, is shipping iron a long distance. That's the problem with their found right here, is look at the shipping. This is already burning through $33 just to ship per second, just to ship this. Now you could, oh, and they're going to do even more shipping. I'd rather see this found over here buy these base resources and then ship in some carbon as needed, because you're going to need more iron than you're going to need carbon. So better to ship there. We do have this high quarry going to go for 24,000, and our first EMP attack from Andreas into Clamanchero. Good EMP on the farms. That was in response to a mutiny on this water pump. Now this water pump is a strictly worse black market attack than the EMP, because look at the price of water, look at the price of food. Clamanchero made a mistake. Clamanchero wanted to EMP these farms. That being said, Andreas does need to turn on needs to sell some of that food just to make sure that these farms stay running, because he's gonna be shipping this in. Meanwhile, selling over here, up HQ3. Check out both headquarters, not using a second headquarters, shipping in a lot of water, which is unnecessary. Moving into some power, that's good, power's high. AA debt, might be able to make some power money, 33 to pay, 32,000 to pay off. And climbing, so we'll have to see. Comachero is this next HQ3, delayed a little bit by Andreas G's black market attacks. Oh, no, not remote production. Nitro, if you watch this replay, or anybody else who's newer to Offworld Trading Company, you do not want to do remote production like this. Now, this does get the benefit of getting the adjacency bonus from electricity to this mine, but what it means is, when this isn't useful for electricity, it's not easy to rotate that tile. So going out like this, especially with this electronics factory, well, this could be claimed up later, so it's not the end of the world, but it just removes flexibility. I'd rather see these nuke plants over here. That way you can rotate them later if and when power dies out. Just some little things here. We do have Andreas up at HQ3, moving into power, quite sensible. Andreas already in B levels of debt, thanks to that auction. Gonna want to put down a goon squad on those tiles, if possible. Comachero is the first to move into a path lab. Let's
A nomadic HQ has been upgraded.
We do have a EMP by, who is that? Comachero? Yes, onto Andreas's water. We can take a look at this and we can see that the farms do make a lot more money than the water does, and so does this power, so it's probably not the best placement. Comachero tried to hit twice, both of them hit mutinies. He's going to get into a mutiny war with Selen, but Selen does have a mutiny stored up of himself, returns back that claim. And where did the second one go? That second EMP hasn't been thrown, but if you want to go against Andreas on these farms or these power, but Selen's looking pretty dangerous, and you know these are open, so maybe an EMP right there just to slow that nomad down. There we go. We do see that the patent lab for Comachero is close, 52 seconds away from teleportation. That makes sense as Comachero is shipping aluminum a long way. Moving into double aluminum, that's a lot. I guess aluminum's pretty high. If you do get teleportation, you'll be able to rotate those out later. EMP, once again, where was that? This time, was that in between? Didn't look like it actually landed on anything. So a little bit of a misplacement once again, although this time it did freeze these electrolysis reactors for a lot longer. Andreas going into a mutiny and going for teleportation himself. Comachero, another 32 seconds before we can take that patent lab back. So we have a little bit of a mutiny war here, while Selen is on HQ4 in some decent markets, and then is going for a majority buy on Comachero. Comachero, with chemical prices the way they are, almost 200, should be able to defend themselves might need to sell out of the chemicals here for teleportation. That would be painful. Maybe he can do it. Yeah, he should be able to defend himself there. Selen's not going to be able to make the buy on Comachero. Andreas could jump in though, potentially to get it done, but no, Comachero has enough money, and that won't be an issue for Comachero to defend themselves. Just needs to realize it, that they can defend themselves. So Selen needs to sell out of Comachero there, unless he thinks somebody else is going to join in. And no, they're not going to sell out of there. Use that money to either go into optimization centers or upgrade to HQ5, which might put a big target on your back, but could be worth it. These aluminum mines are off, and Andreas does get teleportation from Comanchero as Comanchero bought a slowdown strike instead of a mutiny, worried that it was mutiny gooned. Unfortunately, there are no spies to check out, and purchasing a network virus would mean losing that patent lab completely. You have an extra claim going for 24k to nitrocide. Decently priced. I could go a little bit higher on the series, though. And Andreas is on HQ4 also. Once again, we do have the split production from nitrocide. I don't like it. It'd be much better to be closer in there. Nitrocide needs, that's Comanchero. Nitrocide needs 54k to upgrade. That's quite expensive. Doesn't quite have enough steel online. With steel this high, could go into another third steel, and that's where having these claims right next to his base would be far more useful. Instead, it's going to go into a patent lab. Comanchero continues to research more patents while the price of chems is pretty high. No patent chemical production himself. Meanwhile, Selen is just going to continue to sit on this Comanchero investment, and that's not doing anything for him right now. Should be using this money somewhere else, upgrading, moving into some optimization centers. Look at all these prices. Everything right now, almost in triple digits, all the secondary and tertiary resources. But he has almost paid through all of his debt. Almost paid through all of his debts, so will be making power money soon. Does get to HQ5 a little bit later than necessary, but this is when Andreas and Comanchero need to start focusing on Selen, because Selen's looking a little bit scary with all that money stored up in Comanchero, and both Andreas and Comanchero falling into C debt. Andreas trying to pay some of his debt off, and then Comanchero just needs to get the upgrade, which is going to cost another 73k, probably spending too much money on these patents and not enough money on upgrading. Getting those upgrades very useful in a high-priced environment. Then we mentioned going into a hacker array. Oh, that's interesting. C debt for Comanchero, that stock price is going to fall down quite rapidly. 40% on the buy for Comanchero by nitrocide. Comanchero does finally get to HQ4, a much delayed HQ4, more delayed than necessary. Nitrocide does have that hacker array under construction, not quite built yet. We'll just have to see what they decide to hack. Another hacker array. Apparently the game wants everyone to go into hacker arrays. I said this was a high black market game, but not much black market has been used quite just yet. All these prices are pretty low, and we do have two leaders right now. Andreas is being targeted, but is being targeted by Comanchero. Andreas is not targeting Selen back. Selen has some really nice areas that you could target right here with EMPs or even Pirate on the water if you don't want to spend 10k. So despite being a nomad, Selen's still quite attackable. Two hacker arrays for Nitrous. We'll have to see what, if anything, they do with them. Comanchero moving out of a patent lab into double optimization centers. No chems online to run them. 24 chems, you get some adjacency. That's going to be positive money. Instead, Andreas G is going to attack Comanchero. Don't attack. Comanchero is not your main competitor, Andreas. It's Selen. Selen with almost as much money as you. Getting close, well, deciding to buy into themselves. So more money than you when you count these pips in stock, which are unfortunately losing Selen money as Comanchero starts to cost less. We do have a hack in electronics from Nitrocide. Doesn't have a lot of money to buy into them. Moving into a optimization center over here with that auctioned tile. We do have the first optimization center online for Comanchero, moving into glass.
The optimization center is online.
Comanchero is diving further and further into debt, further into relevancy, and this percentage of selling is going higher and higher and higher. So Comanchero, let's keep that percentage ticker up and keep an eye on it. Comanchero, as their stock price continues to tank, could be a danger of getting bought out very soon. Going to buy into Andreas G. Well, that's not going to help Comanchero whatsoever. It's Selin that almost has the buy on them, not Andreas. Well, I guess it's fluctuating between both players. Unfortunately, the little pop-up here that normally shows who has the lead, how much is needed, is not showing. So you could have either player. It's going to be a race. Does Andreas realize that he has enough? They have enough money to buy. Selin, no. He's sorry. Comanchero. Selin gets the buy on Comanchero first, leaving Selin in quite a good spot right here. Selin's in chems, no one else is in chems. Chems pretty ridiculously high right now, so once you have the adjacency bonus, they do make positive money.
New building is available for auction.
Andreas is going to turn around and start buying into Selin, and what we have this auction for a pleasure dome, which should go for a decent amount. It will make 306, but look at all that debt. Let's take a look at the black market. There were some complaints about over-targeting onto Comanchero, and Comanchero got hit. Oh, these pop-ups aren't showing. 7 times by Andreas G. That seems a little bit excessive, especially when Selin has not been hit by Andreas until now or recently, so 32k for the Pleasure Dome. That might be a little bit high given all the power debt that's going to accumulate. Almost 200 there. Nice EMP from Selin, doing the maximum amount of damage in terms of tiles, and also hopefully making these farms that much more painful, especially considering Andreas doesn't have a stockpile of water, but you once again could make an argument for actually putting it over here. Well, I guess it's about the same amount of money, so that's just fine and well. So it is going to be a race between these two, it looked like, with Nitrocide being a little bit on the lagging side over there. We do have optimizations running out from both Andreas and Nitrocide. Let's see if Nitrocide can claw them way back into this. Andreas just has to worry about their debt. What do they have? Optimized one in water, which is just about to finish, so a bit late going into those optimizations for Andreas. Does need to watch their debt problem, as they are losing 200 a second, mostly in power, in a large part because of these pleasure domes, which are earning less money in cash than they are burning in debt, and that's a problem when you're in C debt. So could move into some more nuclear plants just to keep Andreas's debt in check. But as we can see, Andreas is closer to buying out Selin than Selin is to buying out Andreas. Comanchero still not making that much money for Selin. We got over here for Selin lots and lots of water. This needs to be attacked. Nitrocide attacking the sub when they should be attacking Selin or Andreas. At this point, either one would be fine, but Selin has the long-term advantage with that sub, and you can see with the percentage on Andreas. More optimizations coming in from Andreas. Doesn't have the chems that support them. Selin still got out of chems. Into food. instead. So right now, no one taking advantage of that high chem price, in part because the inputs for chems, including fuel, is very, very high. Andreas constantly hammered by selling with the EMPs and not targeting back selling with anything. Recently, which is a mistake. Look at that water. You could throw an EMP down here and shut down a lot of money on these farms. Or even on these electrolysis reactors. EMPs are a bit pricey now, so maybe instead of slowdown strikes, or even pirate on the water just to get some water for yourself. There are options at this point. Sellen's getting pretty close to this buy here, 63% and climbing. Andreas going to continue to optimize. A little bit late to those optimizations, as we already mentioned. Nitrous going hard into electronics. Those are making pretty good money for Nitricide, who is up on HQ5. 3 more claims to put down. Gonna want to do something with them. That's for sure. This is the problem with these remote claims here, is now it's really hard to do anything with those. Andreas is going to buy into Nitricide, as Nitricide now has a lot of cash also, but this is only delaying the inevitable. Andreas, if Sellen does take out Andreas, which does look likely, that's just going to toss the game to Sellen. Andreas' stock price is not going to rise fast enough from the purchase into Nitricide. So it looks like Sellen will take this game here, not being hit by enough black market whatsoever. Now, there is one way for Nitrous maybe to claw themselves into victory, and that's start to buy. Nope, they can't because Andreas is in there. They can't buy into Sellen. So Sellen's going to have a pick. Going to take out Andreas, and then going to get a lot of shares into Nitricide, and this is looking like it is Sellen's game. How much was Sellen attacked at this point in time? Not very much. 2 times by Clemenchera, but unfortunately we can't see because of the pop-ups how much they were attacked by anybody. Let's put this game out fast, as I don't see Nitricide beating Sellen right now. Nitricide does have a lot of money, but right now it's going to be burned up by buying into Sellen. As we can see, half of it, 2K of it, gone just by that first purchase. Sellen could probably sell out of himself right now and end the game without too much trouble, so we're just going to put this on blazing. And regarding the black market, there was too much black market target between these 2 players and not enough on Sellen, so Sellen's sort of able to run away with it as a nomad, off in the corner, ignored until it was too late. Yep, look at all that money off of Andreas as a sub. Has the 100, just needs to realize it. And that should be game. Once Sellen realizes that it's game. There we go, there's a red buy button. Just trying to drive the price up a little bit ridiculously. Waiting until Soul 30, or had to step away and come back. So that means the production and sales isn't really going to give us too much useful information, but we can look at the black market, and there just wasn't enough attacks onto Sellen this entire game by Clemenchera or Andreas. Too much between the 2 of them, which kind of doomed each other, as Sellen, who's the leader in HQ levels and a contender for the most amount of money, was just able to run away with it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this replay cast, please hit that like button, subscribe, or mention something in the comments. If you have any more replays, send them to me on the Offworld Trading Company Discord. This is Philothentic signing out.